President Trump just signed sweeping Second Amendment executive order that could fundamentally change gun rights across America. By the end of this video, you will know all the implications. So let's get into it.
If you're a gun owner in a restrictive state like California, New York, or Illinois, you may soon have rights you never had before. In executive order signed Monday, Trump invoked Article 2 authority and Congress's failure to act to issue 5 directives: national concealed carry reciprocity, removal of suppressors and SBRs from NFA registration, elimination of gun-free zones on federal property, federal preemption of magazine limits, and ATF restructuring. Takes effect in 30 days, applies nationwide. Gun rights groups calling it most significant expansion in 50 years. But 15 blue states already filing lawsuits arguing order exceeds presidential authority and violates 10th Amendment. Subscribe, because this order affects every gun owner, and understanding what changed, which states fighting it, and whether it survives. Court challenges determines whether you exercise full Second Amendment rights or order gets struck down. After Republicans failed to pass national reciprocity despite controlling Congress, Trump announced he would act unilaterally. Legal team cited Bruin decision requiring historical tradition, arguing federal government has constitutional duty to protect enumerated rights from state infringement. Monday signing at White House with NRA, GOA, SAF leadership. Trump stated, law-abiding Americans treated like criminals for exercising constitutional rights. Today, we restore Second Amendment. Let me break down what each provision does, who benefits, which states affected, legal challenges coming, and whether order survives Supreme Court review. Number 1, national concealed carry reciprocity. Core directive. All states must recognize valid permits from any other state, effective 30 days, based on full faith and credit clause. Valid permit from any state to carry in all 50 states. Who benefits? Permit holders from constitutional carry states like Texas, Florida, Arizona. Previously, New York, California, New Jersey refused recognition. Now, Texas LTC holder legal in Manhattan, LA, Chicago. Florida permit works in Boston, Seattle. Arizona valid in Connecticut, Maryland, Rhode Island. States cannot impose additional requirements beyond issuing states. New York cannot require Texas holders to register firearms or obtain NY permit or comply with NY sensitive locations beyond federal law. Exceptions: does not eliminate state permitting for residents. California residents still need California permit for California. Only affects out-of-state recognition. Does not override federal gun-free zones, schools, courthouses. Does not authorize prohibited persons. State resistance: NY, CA, NJ, MA, MD, CT, RI, HI, IL will not comply. Filing lawsuits. Arguing violates 10th Amendment, exceeds presidential authority, contradicts state sovereignty. Number 2, NFA deregulation of suppressors and SBRs. Core directive: ATF removes suppressors and short-barreled rifles from NFA registration. Order argues not dangerous and unusual under Heller. No historical tradition regulating suppressors or barrel length. Bruin requires removal. Suppressors currently require $200 tax, Form 4, months wait, ATF registration. Under order, treated as regular firearms, purchased from FFLs with Form 4473 and NICS, no tax, no registration, no wait. Existing registered suppressors remain legal, owners can deregister. SBRs, currently, rifles under 16 inches require NFA registration. Under order, treated as regular rifles, no registration or tax. AR pistols with braces no longer need NFA compliance. Build AR with brace, stock, any barrel without registration. Who benefits? 2.5 million registered suppressors currently. Owners save $200, avoid 6 to 12-month waits, maintain privacy, no ATF tracking. New buyers purchase same day. SBR deregulation helps AR pistol owners, home defense, hunters wanting compact rifles. State bans remain, does not override state bans. CA, NY, NJ, IL, MA, RI still ban suppressors. Federal deregulation doesn't legalize in those states, but 42 states permitting suppressors now have no federal registration. Number 3, elimination of federal gun-free zones. Core directive eliminates gun-free policies on federal property, except courthouses, secure facilities, areas where 18 U.S.C. paragraph 930 specifically prohibits. All federal agencies revise policies within 30 days to allow concealed carry by permit holders. What opens? National parks, national forests, BLM lands, federal office buildings, post offices, Social Security offices, VA hospitals, federal housing, military bases, civilians with permits, Army Corps lands, wildlife refuges. Military bases, controversial. Directs Pentagon to allow concealed carry on installations by civilians with valid permits. Currently, bases prohibit except military police. Under order, contractors, civilian employees, visitors with permits can carry. Does not apply to active duty military. UCMJ authority separate. Exceptions. Federal courthouses in secure areas remain gun-free under 18 U.S.C. Article 930 federal prisons. Secure areas behind security checkpoints. But general federal buildings without screening now allow concealed carry. State, local property unaffected. Only applies to federal property. States, counties, cities can still designate own property gun-free. Does not preempt state law on state local property. Number 4, federal preemption of magazine limits. Core directive declares state magazine limits unconstitutional under Bruin. Directs AG to file lawsuits challenging all bans. Instructs federal agencies not to enforce state limits on federal property. Establishes federal floor of no restrictions. States affected: CA, NY, NJ, MA, MD, CT, RI, 10 round, CO, 15 round, WA, VT, IL, varies. All limits now challenged by federal government. Legal theory. Standard capacity magazines, 30 round AR, 15-17 round pistol, are arms protected by Second Amendment. No historical tradition restricting capacity, first limits 1990s. Bruin requires invalidation, federal duty to protect constitutional rights from state infringement. Immediate effect limited, does not automatically invalidate limits. Directs DOJ to file lawsuits seeking declaratory judgment and injunctions. Until courts rule, limits technically remain enforceable by states. However, order instructs federal law enforcement, ATF, FBI, not to assist state enforcement. Number 5, ATF restructuring. Core directive restructures ATF to refocus on criminal enforcement rather than regulatory actions against lawful owners, prioritize prohibited persons, traffickers, straw purchasers, criminals using firearms, deprioritize FFL inspections, paperwork violations, unintentional regulatory violations, FFL relief, warning-based approach for minor paperwork violations. Previously, single form 4473 error could revoke license. Under order. First violation receives warning and opportunity to correct. Revocation only for willful violations or pattern. Reduces fear of losing licenses for mistakes. Brace rule rescinded. Formally rescinds pistol brace rule requiring registration. Combined with SBR deregulation, all AR pistols with braces now legal without registration. 40 million braced pistols affected. Zero tolerance ended. Previous zero tolerance for FFL violations rescinded. Return to balancing compliance assistance with enforcement. ATF directed to prioritize education before revocation. Bottom line. President Trump signed Second Amendment executive order Monday with 5 major provisions that could fundamentally reshape gun rights landscape. National concealed carry reciprocity. All states must recognize valid permits from any other state. Texas, Florida, Arizona permit holders can now carry in New York, California, New Jersey. Takes effect in 30 days. Limits patchwork of state reciprocity agreements that previously left gun owners vulnerable to felony charges when crossing state lines. NFA deregulation, suppressors and SBRs removed from registration requirements. Purchase suppressors, same as regular firearms, no tax stamp, no weight. Build AR pistols with stocks and short barrels without NFA compliance. Affects 2.5 million existing registered items, plus millions of future purchases. Industry predicting 10x growth in suppressor market. Federal gun-free zones eliminated. Concealed carry allowed on federal property, including national parks, post offices, federal buildings, military bases, civilians. Exceptions. Courthouses, secure facilities, statutory prohibitions. Opens hundreds of thousands of federal properties previously off limits to armed citizens. Magazine limits challenged. Federal government filing lawsuits against all state magazine capacity bans. California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maryland, Connecticut, Colorado, Washington, Vermont. Limits now under coordinated federal challenge with gun rights organizations. ATF restructured. Enforcement priorities shifted from regulatory actions against gun owners to criminal prosecutions. FFL relief from zero tolerance policy. Brace rule rescinded affecting 40 million AR pistols. Resources redirected toward prosecuting traffickers, prohibited persons, straw purchasers. Legal challenges coming. 15 blue states filing lawsuits arguing executive order exceeds presidential authority under Article 2, violates 10th Amendment reserving police powers to states, contradicts state sovereignty over public safety regulations. Cases will reach federal district courts within weeks, circuit courts within 3 to 6 months, Supreme Court within 6 to 12 months. Outcome uncertain. Could be upheld as valid exercise of federal authority to protect constitutional rights, or struck down as executive overreach into areas reserved to states. What gun owners should do now. If you have concealed carry permit from any state, understand you can travel to all 50 states once order takes effect in 30 days. But bring copy of executive order and be prepared for confrontations with local law enforcement in non-compliant states. If you own suppressors or SBRs, monitor ATF guidance on deregistration process. If you're FFL, document compliance efforts to benefit from warning-based enforcement approach. If you live in magazine-restricted state, support litigation efforts and monitor court decisions. Subscribe because Second Amendment executive orders are being challenged in courts, and I'm tracking every development affecting your rights to carry, own FA items, and exercise full constitutional protections. Trump's executive order could be a historic win or could be struck down. Understand what changed and what's at stake legally. Next video reveals the 3 Supreme Court precedents that will decide whether this executive order survives or gets invalidated.